I'm rolling, and immediately when I walk in here, I see plants. When did you go and get your plants?
I think probably the day that you were here.
And what did you get, these two?
Yeah, because I read that the mums were really, really good, and that they were in season. So I got this mum, and it's really lasted, still blooming. And then the mother-in-law tongue, which wasn't cheap, but that's what you get for going to a florist in Manhattan.
Last time we were talking about your photography and your creativity, and you were going to start organizing.
Oh, I'll have to show you in the other room. La 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 la.
And she sings.
Watch out for the witch's hat.
Okay.
These.
So you went out for Halloween?
I know, I was going to, but I had chemo that day and I was just too tired.
So these are your archives?
These are my archives. Here's the World Trade Center file. So I took all of my material from about the World Trade Center and put it in one file, because that won't be added to. And then down here, there's the panoramas, and these are also the races that I did. The Desert Cup in Jordan. This was for Runner's World magazine. This is the race that I did in Borneo. And these were stories that I did for Liaison Agency, which is now Getty. This is my shelf of portfolios.
Wow, so you have more than one.
Oh yes, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see which one this is. This is the one that corresponds to my website.
Oh yeah.
So after spending a lot of time and a lot of money making these books, they became the template for the website. So in a way it was a good exercise because I had to put all these out. I print all them out in low res on little pieces of paper, and then I spread them out over my bed to decide in what order and what I want to go with each other. Because these are obviously 4 different locations. And these are 2 completely different locations. They just kind of match.
Oh my God, those are beautiful.
Thank you. So again, I just had to match things that were just completely unrelated. And the best place to do it, and here's some of my portraits.
Nice.
The best place to do this is just on my bed. And that's that.
Wow, that's stunning.
Thank you.
Nice. And you have 10 of those?
They're not all the same. They're also from different eras. So oh, look at that. It's completely broken. I mean, some of them are early portfolios in different formats and different material. This is one of the more recent ones. And some of these are just portraits.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find a portrait one. See, look how old that book is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is just portraits.
So would you consider yourself OCD?
Not compared to most photographers I know. In fact, I'm pretty lax as far as, I mean, I have friends that they have everything under temperature and humidity control, and they've actually from the shoots they've done, they have boxes of Polaroids that are labeled with the exposure and the date and the time and the topic.
Okay.
And they actually have them in little glassine sleeves and in a box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a pretty one.
That?
She's just a model.
Okay, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. These are 2 tough guys.
Yeah. So you did a lot of modeling stuff too?
I like to call it kind of creative professionals. I mean, some of them were models. She was a famous actress, Ingrid Cavan. She's a super rock star in Spain.
Oh, really?
It was for her album. That was for a hair salon. So it's just kind of a mix.
That's tattoos?
Uh-huh. And see, I wanted to get the tattoos on the front of him and the back of him at the same time, so I put these mirrors up on the wall.
Nice.
And I got them all at flea markets, and I put them all kind of crazy on the wall, so it kind of mimicked the tattoo in the back. Oh, and this is my my bridge guy who took me to the top of the Golden Gate Bridge. You got in this little elevator, and basically it was kind of awkward because you're like face to face, and it's a long way up there, and you're going like really slowly, and it's pitch black. So, and you know that this guy's nose is like 4 inches from you, but you can't see anything. But at the same time, you're going.
I was like, hope I don't have bad breath.
And then suddenly the door opens and whoosh, that's what you see, and it's the most breathtaking moment. I'm surprised I actually got, stayed up on my feet instead of like, oh my God.
It looks like you could take these pictures straight and show them like at an exhibition.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you have an exhibition, you end up coming home with framed pieces. And they end up being everywhere. And if you're lucky, you'd sell 50. If you sold 50% of what you had at a show, that's a pretty good sell. And other than that, you come home with them, and it's expensive. And I don't know. It's a mixed thing having a show. You have to be able to afford to do it.
And then, if you sell half, will you make money?
Yeah, you'll make money, but at the same time, you still come home with a lot of framed pieces. With, you have to store them. Oh, here's more portraits. I thought these were, I had one book, and it was all of the tear sheets. So it was magazine covers and magazine articles, and my agency lost the book, and I don't have any other copies. So all the work I did for years and years is gone. But this was my very first portfolio.
Oh, let's see that. Is that from like the 80s or something?
90s probably.
Okay. Sorry, I'm dating you.
Oh, well, that's pretty much when I started. But see, this is the format I had.
This is what is the hotel is that?
Oh, this is the Ralph Lauren store on 79th and Madison.
Okay. Oh, so then you printed straight on to...
And I had them laminated, which is kind of an expensive way. This was before I got to just the pages. But so they're all laminated, but you can kind of switch them around. And for every different client, I'd put different boards together instead of switching the pages in a book. But this was the original format. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that's it. No, wait, that's not the negative, is it?
No, it's a blown up from the original 35mm slide.
Okay.
Into a 5x7 transparency, and then mounted on a board, which is an incredibly expensive way to show your work. But that's what I did in the beginning. This was my original format. And I just thought what would be great for an art director is that sitting at a desk, you don't need a loop and you don't need a light table. You can literally hold these up to the light one by one by one. And it really makes the color pop, against a window.
Yeah.
So, and I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 books of those. Lots of transparencies. So this has been well invested in, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. Such a difference of photographers now that all they have to do is click and upload.
I know.
And then
Don't
on Photoshop.
don't remind me. I did a story in Brazil about these people that live on the big junkyard.
Oh.
And so the government organized them and gave them uniforms, and they still kind of, what they do is collect recyclables and things like that, and collectibles. So I did a whole portrait series on these guys that had used to live on top of the garbage dump. It's the largest garbage dump in the world. See, he's a cardboard picker.
Oh, wow.
And this guy, they called him Doc because he was the only one that had a pair of glasses.
So he was like intellectual?
Yeah, they call him Doc.
And they spoke Portuguese?
Yeah.
Do you speak Portuguese?
No.
You had a translator?
Yeah. And what I did is I just took this big black cloth, and wherever these guys were, I just taped the black cloth up onto the wall and had them stand there and took their portraits. That was a fun project. And so when I'm in the darkroom, do you see here, there was a slight pattern on the black cloth, which I didn't want because it's kind of flowery. And this portrait series was not flowery. So in the darkroom, since you know about darkrooms, I made these little puppets to dodge out.
Ah, to dodge and burn?
Yeah, so every single portrait has a corresponding puppet.
Oh, wow.
It's not him, of course. Ha, ha, I'm blocking you. So, yeah, I've spent my time in the darkroom. But that's fun. I like doing that. And these are prints. This is Paris. I did a whole series on Paris and cafes.
And you never went to photography school?
No. Yeah, I did a whole series on Paris. I used to sell a lot of stuff in these.
Oh, sorry, can I just have that on the face? You never went to photography school?
No, the School of Hard Knocks.
Did you read books or you just
No,
took pictures?
I just took pictures. And there are a lot of these like little frame shop galleries that are dotted around New York City, and I used to sell a lot of pictures there. So what sold were obviously pictures of Paris or pictures of New York or anything that's more kind of iconic, because even in Paris pictures of New York sell because so many people have been to New York, and in New York conversely pictures of Paris sell because of all the people that have visited there and gone, oh, I remember Paris.
Caribbean island luxury.
I did all these pictures.
Oh, nice. Villa Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that?
In St. John's.
Oh, nice. How long did you stay?
A couple weeks. I think I just haven't captured the essence of this place. Oh, we do have fun.
Were you always alone shooting, or did you bring assistants?
No, I was usually alone. Oh, look. This is a poster that I did many years ago. This is one of my first projects ever. When I first started photographing buildings. And basically, this is a bad print because I don't have all the good ones have been sold or given away. But basically at the top are kind of morning shots, then it's daytime, then afternoon and evening and nighttime. And so it's a conceptual sunset, but at any given building, we had pretty much chosen the buildings, but there was definitely a handful of extra ones that didn't quite make the final cut. But basically I would shoot this, in the daytime, but then eventually we decided it belonged in the night shots. So then I had to rephotograph it. So it was a lot of going back and forth, and sometimes, and then up and down we wanted things to kind of match. So things had to keep going all over it was like a big puzzle. And I kept photographing, and I have boxes and boxes of the pictures that went into doing this. But that was one of my first projects, and I think I did this in 1990. Oh, 1989 is the copyright. I'm just seeing at the bottom.
Oh, Felix.
We were selling them on the top of the Empire State Building, on the top of the Twin Towers.
Are you standing there selling them?
Oh no, the gift shop would order them.
Oh.
And then I would sit here on my floor into the middle of the night rolling them and putting them in plastic sleeves. So, yes, it's been quite a journey.
Well, yes. It looks like you have an amazing career. You travel the whole world.
Mm-hmm. Well, I moved here to do interesting things.
You moved to New York to do interesting things.
And meet
all
interesting people. And find my dog.